Hello everyone and welcome to the Saints View. Now I'm here for this quick little video that I didn't expect to be making this morning. Very big news. I can't really say it's breaking news because it was announced this morning, but Les Reed has left the football club. He was sacked this morning, or maybe it was after the Man City result, so a few days ago, but it was announced officially by the club this morning and no one really expected it. Of course, Les Reed was the director of football and vice chairman at Southampton. That was his role. And lately, loads of fans have been giving him so much criticism, and rightly so, given that it's his sort of job, I guess, for the recruitment in terms of the manager replacements, the players that we brought in. He has a say in these decisions, and over the last 18 months, it simply hasn't been good enough. As well as Les Reed, Martin Hunter, the technical director who was also involved with the under-23s, has left as well. So it looks like a lot is going to be happening over the next couple of weeks in terms of the backroom team at the club, which is, it's only promising essentially. But what we have to remember is, great, we wanted Les Reed gone, that's fantastic, but it's the same situation as when a manager would leave or a manager is sacked. The replacement is what's crucial, because we could sack Les Reed because the fans are saying that he's just clueless and or anything that contributes to him doing a bad job in his recruitment. But we could bring someone in who's just as clueless, or even more so, who doesn't have the experience necessary, who can't really point us in the direction of decent replacements, whether that's a manager to replace Mark Hughes when he's inevitably sacked, or when we're recruiting players in the January and summer transfer windows. Now, of course, we have to look at the bigger picture. Les Reed was there for 9 years. He did a great job for the first 7 years, you know, being a big part of the club, going from League One up to the Premier League again, as well as the glory days under Pochettino and Koeman. You know, he had a say in the signings of the likes of Wanyama, Mane, Van Dijk, even Alderweireld on loan. Those sort of players who were so crucial for the fantastic seasons that we had, especially under Ronald Koeman. But I think you have to look at the last sort of 18, maybe even 24 months, and it just has not been good enough. The appointment of Claude Puel to start, okay, now we'd probably take him back at the club. But for what we were looking for, you know, a manager to replace Ronald Koeman, and by the way, partly or massively maybe Les Reed's fault for Koeman leaving. That's something that needs to be remembered as well. Claude Puel, not really good enough. You know, knocked out of the Europa League group, which was the big thing for that season. Obviously, we surpassed expectations and got to the final of the League Cup. Really should have won that game, but we won't go into that. And I think 46 points it was that season that somehow got us 8th place, but we were quite close to the relegation zone in terms of points. It was only about, I think, if I remember correctly, there were only about 8 or 10 points between us and the relegation zone, and we still finished 8th. And somehow people still thought sacking him was a bad thing. But given the seasons we've had before, you know, he didn't live up to the standards. And then, obviously, it went downhill from there. Mauricio Pellegrino, the less we say about him, probably the better. And Mark Hughes really hasn't done that well this season. The results haven't turned yet. Performances sometimes have been there, in my opinion, but, you know, it's a results business and the results aren't coming through. So he's under massive pressure, especially now that the board have acted. When the club announced the departure of Les Reed, they issued the following statement, and this is from Ralph Kruger, who is the chairman of the club. I would like to go on record to thank Les for the 8 years of hard work and dedication he has given Southampton Football Club. His time at the club will be remembered for the fine work he did in overseeing our progress through the divisions and establishing the club in the Premier League. The process of recruiting the right individual to head up our football operations is underway, and it's a decision that needs to be given the necessary time, and attention that reflects what an important position it is within our club. Now, more than ever, we are grateful for the continued support of our staff and fans as we work towards our joint aim of moving up the table. To me, that says results have been crap and we need to improve them. Simply, that's how it seems. Now, I found it quite interesting that is Ralph Kruger issuing that statement. Obviously, the big boss essentially is Zhisheng Gao, but was he going to release a statement? No, not really. But it is promising because fans were questioning whether Gal is actually interested in the club. Maybe he's not, but he's been in charge for just over a year. I say he's been in charge. He's had the majority stake for just over a year, and it seems now he's assessed his options and thought they're not good enough. So it'd be interesting to see whether actually Ralph Kruger is someone who leaves as well. But for now, Les Reed's left, Martin Hunter as well, but obviously Les Reed's the bigger name, and it's all about the replacement. Who we get in, I've got no clue. No names have been linked yet. The papers aren't picking anyone up. It's probably going to be an unknown name, but that unknown name has to have a good background, good knowledge of football, good knowledge of recruitment. And look, I don't think fans are expecting us to get back to sort of the Koeman Pochettino levels yet. I think what they want is a bit more stability. You know, last season was too close in terms of going down to the Championship, and it could be the same this season. So let's see what happens. It seems like a lot of change is going to be happening over the next couple of weeks and maybe even months. Will that mean that Mark Hughes goes soon, especially if Watford isn't a win on Saturday? Let's see. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to the Saints View, and we will see you on Saturday for content after the Watford game. Do come over. We might be doing interviews. I can't guarantee that yet, but you'll get all the details on our social media. So follow them as well, and I'll see you very soon.